I can't believe that I bought this thing, and worst still, I can't believe that I'm enjoying it. And I'm gonna make a capital sin, but in some ways I'm enjoying it way more than the Gamesir G8 Galileo. For context, I should never have had this controller in my hands. In fact, I made fun of this controller with one of my closest channel supporters, Hunter. Hunter, if you're seeing this, I'm a hypocrite. I never intended to review this controller, but I found it at a very good deal on AliExpress for like $37, and for that I was like, you know what, I might as well release a video for you fine people. So I bought it, and it has some glaring flaws, some things that I hate about it, and I do not understand why Gamesir made some design decisions with this. Some things about this controller just makes me think that Gamesir is lazy, but at the same time I kind of understand the charm of a controller like the Gamesir X2s compared to objectively a higher quality one like the Gamesir G8 Galileo. I've already made a video on the G8 Galileo. If you want to watch it, I'm gonna pin that video in the comment section. But now the star of the show is this. And objectively speaking, this controller feels like a toy compared to other controllers. But that's the charm of it. It has obvious glaring defects, like listen to this shoulder click. Do you hear this? Can you believe this? My mouse doesn't do loud enough mouse clicks like the shoulder triggers of this controller. And you're right to be confused, because this should be as far removed from a mouse that they should have nothing in common. When you use it for the first 15 minutes, the sound of the shoulder buttons will confuse the heck out of you. This mother flipping thing is so weird, not necessarily bad, but weird when it comes to the sounds that it makes. The color also will not be for everyone. Some people might really enjoy this, as well as this purple on the back, which is way too much. Gamesir apparently inspired themselves from a limited edition Nintendo 3DS or something like that, but the design eventually grows on you. I do not hate it, but I am not gonna lie to you. I would have picked a black version of this controller in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice. But it has its charm. Luckily my phone is blue, and I have a sort of bluish case to it, which kind of makes it work. And unlike the Gamesir G8 Galileo, this actually consolifies your phone, if this makes any sense. As in, you don't really feel like you have a phone with a controller slapped on it. This makes you feel like you actually have a dedicated handheld that you're playing on, which, if we are to be honest, is the entire point of telescopic / stretchy controllers like this one. We want to feel like our phone turns into a sort of pocketable, ultra performant Android handheld that we can use, and in this context the controller does exactly this. And there are things that I personally love about this controller way more than the Gamesir, and trust me, I was shocked about this as well. For example, I love the small thumbsticks. You might think that they are horrible because they are small, but for some reason they feel quite nice on a form factor like this. And at first I hated these buttons. They don't have a lot of travel to them, and the clickiness that they have is something totally different than what you would expect. Listen to this. Needless to say, this controller kind of has a charm of its own, but there's one thing that grinds my gears so much that literally makes me physically frustrated with it. Can you see the defect? I'm gonna give you a hint. A big vertical hint. For some reason, unbeknownst to mankind, Gamesir thought it was a clever idea to slap a super thick rubber on one side of the controller. And I've obsessed over this. I've tried to figure out why. Why, Gamesir? Why would you do this? Why would you not make this freaking thing symmetrical? It's not like they didn't use thin rubber in the past. If we look at their previous controllers like the Gamesir X2 Pro, you know, the one that's Xbox branded, or the normal Gamesir X2, we would see that this thick rubber is replaced with a very thin one, very similar to what we have on this other side. This seems so dumb, but then I figured it out. They are afraid that you might have a big phone with a big camera hump, and if that big camera hump starts at the top of your phone, then your phone would not sit at a right angle. But this is nothing more than a hack, because they could have changed the freaking plastic mold to not have to compensate with a thick rubber. They were perfectly content with using the same controller mold as the X2 and X2 Pro and just slap a thick rubber on it instead of changing the design a bit. It's not difficult to shave half a centimeter off the width of the design, to not have to resort to such hackish fixes as, oh, let's just make the rubber 8 times thicker. Fortunately, this rubber can be peeled off. This is what I'm gonna do in one of my next videos, because it's driving me absolutely bananas. And my phone doesn't have a huge camera bump, which I think might actually work. And also, this is very important for anyone who might want to buy the Gamesir X2s. The USB-C on this controller is long enough that this controller will work with most cases, unless of course you have armor shield cases with corner protection or any other of those super thick cases. But if you're a normal Joe with a normal case, you'll be just fine. So in order to make a big TLDR, this makes your phone feel more like a dedicated handheld device. But remember when I said that the Gamesir X2s feels like a toy? This is good because it's cheap as a toy. It's almost half the price of the Galileo. Somehow, psychologically, this makes you not care for it as much. You would slap it in a bag without thinking twice. You would throw it in a backpack. It would fall on the table and you would be, okay, lol. You wouldn't care. You would care less about this than the breakfast that you had in the morning. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm not saying this in a negative way. This makes you enjoy the device more. This makes you not worry about it. You won't worry when you have scratches on it. You won't worry when and if it breaks, because you don't feel like it's the kind of device that should require that kind of mental effort from you. Whereas the Gamesir G8 Galileo feels premium enough that you would want to take care of it. So I would say that this is the perfect, cheaper, less quality version of the G8 Galileo, which you wouldn't mind traveling with. You would abuse this controller. And before I forget, it has USB pass-through. You can charge your phone while you're using your phone into this. Some people really like that. I personally almost never use that, but it's there for the people who want it. So tell me what you think. Would you buy the X2s or would you go for the Gamesir G8 Galileo? As a person that has both, I can see myself using whichever of these, and I would still kind of be happy. If I were to travel, I would definitely take this one though, because this one feels more like a couch handheld. I would enjoy the G8 Galileo at home, where I know it's safe, even though it's sturdy as a rock, don't get me wrong. But the Gamesir X2s feels like the one that I would use on a train. So tell me what you think. Which controller attracts you more? Is it the cheaper one, the more expensive one? They both have totally different approaches of how we use them and how we handle them. I'm really curious which one of them resonates more with you, because I love seeing the opinions that you fine, beautiful nerds have. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is absolutely mandatory, okay? If you watched this video for so long, it means that you're A, either in love with pain, or B, you might like my content. And if you like my content, make sure to subscribe. This channel is so small and each subscription makes me so freaking happy that I feel like a fellow baby bird on a freaking branch just chirping away with other baby birds without any of you subscribing. I will not be in baby bird mode ever in my life, and I would probably turn out all nihilistic. I would be one of those messed up birds that smokes in front of other birds on the branch and eventually lights the tree on fire by accident. We don't want that. Do we? Do you? Well, I hope you don't. That would make you a sociopath. Which I'm sure you're not. You're a beautiful person and I love you. I love you more than I love morning coffee. This should tell you something. By the way, if you want to help the channel out, consider becoming a channel member or a Patreon. Irregardless of which one you choose, you get to be featured in each and every clip that I do, and it would mean an awful lot to me to see support coming from your end. And quite frankly, Any profit goes towards buying new devices. I'm too small of a channel, companies do not send me devices for free. Or you can consider that a puppy fund. I'm not sure how it's related to puppies, but look at these cute puppies. Look at this puppy. And this puppy, and of course this puppy right here. If you want to become a channel member or a Patreon, think of the puppies. Puppies are cute, aren't they? Aren't they? You have to say yes or else we're not friends. I am not friends with puppy haters, okay? If you survived until the end of the video, you are in my heart because you are amazing. Thank you, and see you in the next clip. Bye.